Ruben Amorim's words after Manchester United's late win at Craven Cottage perfectly capture his philosophy. When asked about Lisandro Martinez's aggressive push into midfield, an action that directly led to the winning goal, he made it clear that he values defenders who can step forward and influence the game. In his own words, the Portuguese coach said, "When the centre-backs play well with the ball, we play well." It's no surprise then that Manchester United have moved quickly to secure the signing of Ayden Heaven. Originally a midfielder before transitioning to centre-back in Arsenal's youth setup, the highly rated 18-year-old has chosen Old Trafford over interest from Arsenal, Barcelona, and Eintracht Frankfurt. Still, it was United who came out on top, landing a defender who fits Amorim's vision of a modern ball-playing centre-half. In this video, we'll take a look at who Ayden Heaven is, how good he is, and why Man United bought him. But before we dive in, grab your new season jersey from Classic Football Shirts. They offer high-quality club, international, and retro jerseys. Use code VF10 for a discount. Link in the video description. Ayden Heaven, born on September 22, 2006 in Enfield, London, is an 18-year-old footballer whose journey to professional football has been anything but straightforward. He began his academy career at West Ham, joining at the age of 8 and spending 4 years with the club before being released at 12. The decision was a tough one to take after so many years, but the youngster remained determined to find another path back into academy football. Rather than dwelling on the setback, he focused on staying fit and continued training with a Sunday league team called Levels. Their support, particularly through one-on-one sessions, helped him maintain his sharpness despite not being part of a club at the time. The starlet's persistence paid off when the leader of Levels, who also worked as a scout for Chelsea, arranged a trial for him. Heaven spent 2 months with the Blues but was ultimately not offered a contract. The experience was disappointing, especially after several extensions to his trial, but he remained focused on finding the right opportunity. He returned to training at Levels, and soon after, Fulham showed interest. He spent a month training with Fulham, and a deal was on the table, but the lengthy and demanding travel from his home in Edmonton proved too much of a challenge. The daily overground and underground commutes resulted in late nights, making the move impractical. In the end, he and his mother made the difficult decision to turn it down. Fortunately, Arsenal had already been keeping an eye on him. The move to Hale End made perfect sense. Not only was he a lifelong fan, but the location was much more convenient, just a 15-minute drive from home. Everything aligned perfectly, giving him the chance to continue his development at the club he supported. Ayden Heaven would go on to join Arsenal as a schoolboy in 2019. During his time at Hale End, he initially played as a midfielder, where his style of play drew comparisons to Paul Pogba. Even at the schoolboy level, his performances stood out. He moved past opponents with ease, combining defensive strength with creative flair to great effect. In recent years, however, Heaven has transitioned into a defensive role. While he primarily plays as a centre-back, he has also shown his versatility by filling in at left-back on multiple occasions. Despite being just 18 and a first-year scholar, the left-footed defender has been fast-tracked to older age groups, regularly featuring for Arsenal's under-21s and under-19s. In fact, he hasn't played for the under-18s since September last year, highlighting the club's belief in his ability. Arsenal's faith in Heaven is further reflected in his involvement with the first team. He has been called up to train under Mikel Arteta multiple times since stepping up to the under-21s. His physical presence makes him well-suited for high-intensity sessions, while his composure on the ball aligns with Arteta's tactical demands. Still, adjusting to higher levels of competition has come with its challenges for Ayden Heaven. While he has often delivered strong performances, there have been moments where a lapse in concentration has led to costly mistakes. One such learning moment came against Reading in the Bristol Street Motors Trophy, where Heaven received a late red card for a rash challenge. It's an experience he will no doubt look to grow from as he continues to refine his game. Despite these early setbacks, Heaven has plenty of time to develop and iron out any weaknesses. His raw ability is clear, and his confidence in facing older, more experienced opponents suggests he has the potential to reach a high level with the right guidance. These shortcomings didn't stop interest from other clubs, though. Ayden Heaven was first linked with a move to Manchester United in mid-December, following reports that he had turned down Arsenal's initial offer of a professional contract. Last month, he was spotted at Old Trafford watching United's match against Rangers, and less than a week later, Fabrizio Romano confirmed the deal with his signature "Here we go." United successfully beat Eintracht Frankfurt to his signature, with Barcelona reportedly showing interest as well. Arsenal had hoped to keep him, with Charles Watts recently revealing that the club had an offer on the table, recognizing him as a highly regarded talent. Mikel Arteta himself was full of praise for Heaven last summer, particularly after a pre-season match against United in Los Angeles. Speaking about the then 17-year-old, Arteta highlighted his composure and quality despite a tough duel against Rasmus Højlund. "I don't know how many players are able to do that on a stage like this at his age. He's lost a duel against Højlund, one of the strongest and fastest players in the world. It can happen," Arteta said. But the reaction afterwards, the composure, the quality, the body language that he had were all remarkable. "I'm really happy with him." Arteta later handed Heaven his senior debut in the Carabao Cup quarter-final against Preston North End, a clear indication that he saw him as close to first-team football. Heaven's move follows another promising young signing for United, Chido Obi-Martin, who also joined from Arsenal earlier in the summer. Obi-Martin took to TikTok to celebrate the transfer, calling himself Agent Obi after Romano confirmed Heaven's move to Old Trafford. Considering Arsenal's rebirth under Arteta, many have questioned Heaven's move to United. Well, with Arsenal already stacked with central defenders, Gabriel, William Saliba, Jakub Kiwior, Ricardo Calafiori, Ben White, and Jurrien Timber, it was always going to be difficult for Ayden Heaven to break into Mikel Arteta's plans. That depth in defence may have played a role in his decision to move on. In fact, even among the club's young prospects, Heaven may not have been first in line. 19-year-old Maldini Kukuri appeared to be ahead of him in the pecking order, having been included in more matchday squads for Arsenal this season. These factors may have opened the door for Ayden Heaven's departure. For Manchester United, the club shifted their approach to strengthening their defence after Harry Maguire's one-year extension, with the club choosing to target a young, developing centre-back rather than an immediate starter. Ayden Heaven fits that profile perfectly. Previously, United had been linked with defenders like Jared Branthwaite, Castello Luquiba, and Trevor Chalobah. But their focus has now turned to a prospect who can grow under the guidance of more experienced players. According to the Manchester Evening News, Heaven is being signed with the first team in mind, expected to compete with and provide a rotational option for Lisandro Martinez. This makes sense considering Amorim's tactical approach places a strong emphasis on centre-backs stepping into midfield, as he explained. Nowadays, sometimes they, centre-backs, are the midfielders, because you don't have a lot of space between the lines. You have to find the space. The defenders have the game in front of them, and they have to be the midfielders. Martinez has embodied this role in recent weeks, pushing forward to score against both Liverpool and Fulham. Still, United centre-backs are often criticised for being too conservative in possession. While Lenny Yoro has the technical ability to step into midfield, he is still adjusting to English football. Meanwhile, players like Matthijs de Ligt and Maguire lack the mobility and recovery pace to consistently execute this style of play. Given Heaven's background as a midfielder and his natural tendency to push forward, he could be the ideal centre-back for Amorim to develop into a key part of his system. But what do you think? Is Ayden Heaven the perfect backup to Lisandro Martinez? Or is it too early for him to be placed in the first team? Let us know your thoughts and be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell for more Wonderkid profiles.